Thank you so much, Michael, for your presentation. Now, we will talk about proximity matters, advocating location for brand success. Our speaker is Rasha Rteil, Head of Innovation and Labs in MENA. Please join me welcoming Rasha on stage.
Are you hearing me well? Yeah. Okay. Cool. I'm gonna try not to trip here. So why am I here today? Today we're gonna talk about proximity. Anyone not familiar with the word proximity, raise their hands. Okay. Good. Proximity discusses or actually relates to the definition of distance. So the proximity between me and the door is, let's say, 20 meters or 10 meters. So what we're going to discuss today is how proximity matters in the media world and in the innovation world and today in the digital world, being that we're at ArabNet. So how do we advocate location for your brand to be successful? Even if you're a restaurant, you're a McDonald's, you're a retailer, you're a fashion retailer, proximity matters. But first, I'd like you all to get out of this keynote thinking about one thing and one thing only. I come from a place that's full of momentum, and I come from MENA is a global media agency, not promoting here, but because usually I get out of these keynotes and they think I work in a development house. is a global media agency like all other media agencies, but we've specialized really well in creating a hub for technology and innovation called Labs. What Labs does is takes every media impression. If you're booking an outdoor, let's say SDC, if you're working with McDonald's, who's our client, and Coke, and we try to innovate how media works. So even in terms of outdoor, we no longer think of outdoor as a stagnant media. We make outdoor very real-time, social, digital, mobile, even TV. Now we're very much experienced with multi-screen. So I'm going to do less talking and show you the video of what Labs at MENA stands for. And then I'm going to take you across some of the examples that we've done and what is proximity for your brand. So this is where I come from. Every year we talk about it's the year of mobile. It's not the year of mobile. The year of mobile passed like 5, 6 years ago. It's not the year of mobile anymore, people. So I want you to get out from behind the glass and think more about what your mobile, not your mobile can do, but the ecosystem surrounding your mobile, what it can do for your business and your mobile. And this is something I want you to remember today when you get out of this keynote. And specifically, I'm going to show you how much you can innovate with proximity, and I'm going to take you through 4 ways in terms of innovating. And then when you combine them, your business and your brand can innovate so much. But let's look at statistics. You're going to say this. Rasha came and showed us a few examples, but these examples are substantiated with data that's coming from the MENA. We've done a survey of around 150 users of mobile within the MENA, and we've looked at these statistics, which is 56% of shoppers feel that technology makes their shopping experience better. 41% of shoppers say they want a more personalized experience that was tailored and relevant to their needs. So yes, we're looking at mobile and we're looking at customization, because when you customize content that's relevant to your consumer, you have more conversion and engagement. That said also, because it's very hard to tackle and target moms when you kind of assume they're not that digitally savvy, but they are. So a lot of our, actually 80% of our customers or clients are FMCG related, like Reckitt Benckiser, CocaCola, and you have the L'Oreal, and you have J&J, part of J3. We've mastered FMCG, and we've mastered what mothers could do in the GCC and specifically in KSA. And we've realized that 44% of moms are plugged on the go. And they use digital channels in terms of social, in terms of reviews on their mobile when they're shopping. But also, most importantly, 38% of grocers respond to proximity-based messages fed by beacons, Wi-Fi, or geo-based data. Anyone not familiar with the term beacons as a hardware, raise your hand. Okay, so beacons is a type of hardware that you place in any ecosystem or in any ground. So we could place it here, let's say, at the ArabNet. And it could give you notifications based on the proximity. So let's say you're passing by next to Hall B, and there's a keynote happening there, and you've basically installed the ArabNet app, because it has to have this kind of code or SDK that talks to you. So it sees you passing by Hall B, which is here, and my keynote is starting. And it pushes you a notification that Rasha is having a keynote. Come here and see it. However, it could go more if you go back to the point of customization. It can know that, let's say, you're a certain university grad, and afterwards, it might sign you up for an interview or a session when I ever visit your university, and we can talk and sit and discuss business. So it's customization plus proximity. If you combine these together, the examples that are coming on our way are going to make more sense. Out of these 38%, 16% have redeemed these offers or notifications automatically. So imagine the kind of conversion and return on investment. Always think ROI when you think proximity marketing, and the value of your dollar becomes way higher. We've realized from our showcase of brands, and specifically Coca-Cola, a brand that we love and I personally love working with, is we all know that if I ask anyone from the audience, and let's say you. So what's Coca-Cola's slogan? Okay, so what's, when you look at an advertising, Coca-Cola, what's its slogan? When you see the advertising? Happiness. Who thinks Coca-Cola's current brand communication is happiness? Raise their hand. Open happiness, right? Is it open happiness? It is? Raise your hand. I want to see. I want to look at statistics. Great. No, it's not anymore. They changed it. So we worked around 4 or 5, I think, months ago, mid-year, and we changed Coca-Cola from open happiness now to, although it's a slogan, but tactically and strategically, we're working on taste the feeling. Because, yeah, right? But I don't think you see it here a lot in Saudi Arabia because the copy is very flagrant. But come to Lebanon, you'll see a lot. So emotional versus functional. They're going less emotional because it's showing that, okay, we've done happiness, we've done the fluff, we've done dark Ramadan and all of that. We're going to go more into functional now and bring the product to life, the product at the center of every communication. It makes you want to drink Coke. If you're walking to next to the butcher in Carrefour, what we're doing now is that it sends you a notification that because it knows you're up for a barbecue this weekend, right? It's Thursday, end of day. You're walking next to the butcher. You're going next to the grill, right? Naufal? Yeah. And then afterwards, it's going to tell you, you know what? Grab a Coke cooler. You're up for a barbecue. So it understands you. It's pretty much functional. And that's something we're doing with Coke, and it's extremely exciting. But most importantly now, when you get out of this keynote and you want to think proximity for your brand, you need to think about 3 pillars. Context. What kind of context are we in today? We're at the ArabNet. What kind of context would you be in the afternoon, let's say, when you're out with your family, maybe shopping at Panda or Lulu? The context you're in. And then the connectivity. What type of device is this user holding onto? And other than Android or whatever. It could be other than mobile. It could be an Apple Watch. And we know now that the ecosystem of Bluetooth or beacons is talking to wearables. And that's something also that we looked at, wearables. If you want to look at more wearables, go to our website. There's an amazing report. This is where I'm promoting myself. Content. What type of content are you going to talk to these people? What are you going to tell them? Okay, so context, connectivity, and content. Content needs to be mastered and customized. So we're going to start with the first pillar, which is creating connected experiences. And what do we mean by connected experiences, and why do we want to create connected experiences? Because the connected consumer now is open to experiences. I want to experience more. I want to click on something. I want to see something. I want to get recommendations. And this is the difference between YouTube and Facebook. YouTube is a kind of search platform. Facebook is a discovery platform because you scroll across these videos and you discover content customized to you. And a lot of technologies and platforms and social media platforms and mobile, and now Musical.ly. Musical.ly is the next Spotify, is the next SoundCloud because it customizes and it lets users create content based on their preference and their music. So open experiences is something that the region is pretty much adopting. And open experiences allows for multi-screen gratification. This is an example that we did for Rani in the UAE at the Comic-Con. What we've done is allowed a big screen to be interactive with people's mobile. We've had around 4,000 people that have engaged in 6 hours. 6 hours, which is 2 hours per day for 3 days. And what we've done is connected that mobile onto the screen very much in a very magical way to the user. But what we've done is we've created code whereby you can go on a website and you can spin and you can play with the big screen live. And this created a lot of gratification and reward and positive sentiment towards the brand. I don't know if you've seen this example of Spotify. What Spotify did in New York is they took the data of the users, what they listened to for the past year, and they broadcasted it on outdoor. And this is when data and music come together, they bring beautiful things. So we know that Anghami, for instance, very popular in the region too, has a lot of really good data. We've been talking about data, big data, small data. But when does it ever come to sense is when you use that data to create something. So we know that Anghami, and I hope I'm not saying something I shouldn't, but we know that Anghami kind of tracks your movement and could know that, let's say, you're running fast today, okay? Or what kind of sport you're doing, or what kind of time you're at, and pushes a playlist or pushes recommendations based on your movement, okay? And the example here that I want to show you is is the one on the left. Dear person in theater district who listened to Hamilton soundtrack around 6,000 times, can you get us tickets? So they know that this person is at a certain proximity within this outdoor, and they've used that data to communicate with them. A bit spooky, yes, but I think it's pretty cool. Now, thinking to satisfy, there goes Coke again. When you want to use mobile and you want to use it in a very interactive and attractive way, you could sync it with outdoor. You can sync it with TV. And Coke did this really well by combining Shazam with TV and also at a football pitch, whereby you can Shazam an ad and then you can drink Coke. Not necessarily really drink, but you can kind of drink the beverage. Second point, importance of location, which is what this is all about. There's an appetite for proximity marketing in this region and for users necessarily. When globally people kind of neglect notifications or stuff like this, in this region people are more prone to clicking and interacting with a proximity-based message. And this is based on the research and data that we've done and the experiences that we have. Moreover, Outdoor goes hyper-personal. Offer Moments is a company that unfortunately we haven't worked with yet, but we will, opened up in the UAE recently. And what they do is they grab the data of users passing by next to their outdoor, and then they customize, again, customization of content based on that person. And imagine what outdoor now can do with all the outdoor suppliers that are selling outdoor in digital. It's a big opportunity for media agencies and brands that are willing to innovate and make every dollar count. Beacons, a proxy for hyper-targeting. This is something that we've been trying to crack, and we've cracked for other brands, not necessarily for Coke, but in terms of partnership. And this is the second point that we're going to do is collaboration after this. So Coke here in Netherlands partnered up with a big cinema. And what they did is, because the people have the cinema app on their mobile, 65% of these people who are walking into the cinema have the cinema app. So what Coke was able to do is map the traffic or map these people coming into the cinema and offering them a free Coke. And 34% of these people redeemed Coke. So again, it's about taste the feeling, functional versus emotional. Everyone is talking about this. I just added this a few days ago and I remembered. What location is also allowing us to do is become less frictionless, actually more frictionless. So PayPal, all of these, they don't mean anything anymore, or swiped pay, or all of these. Amazon now released Amazon Go. We can't physically or kind of imagine when is it coming to our region, but we do know that mobile now and proximity has made interaction less. It's kind of sad for me when you can buy and not interact with the cashier at the end of the day, or with the first, or when you start your day. But this is what you can see right now. So the woman walks in, she passes by like two pillars, as you can see, or here. He swipes his phone, and then, because when he swipes his phone, he's now allowed to enter Amazon Go store. He walks around the store, he grabs a few stuff, and then he walks out. And when he walks out, a receipt is sent to him on what he had actually grabbed, or what he bought. Working together to stand apart, collaboration. When you want to look at proximity, it's not easy because you need to have a lot of stakeholders that are working with you. And collaboration will get you more near to the consumer, like the cinema. Coke couldn't have done it had they not worked with the cinema app, okay? And I'm going to give you more examples right here, which is customization also, what collaboration can bring you, customization, which is Poddar is an app that was released in Sweden by a civil engineer called PEAB. What they wanted to do is communicate to the people that they're releasing a project that is actually very close and within the proximity of Stockholm. So what they did is created this app, or this ecosystem and platform, that creates and customizes podcasts based on your journey. So, 5 minutes. So if you're going from point A to point B, what Poddar does is creates this kind of podcast that takes you from journey A to journey B within the time. So if your journey and your commute within the metro or the train is 15 minutes, they're going to customize content based on your interest and based on your journey time. Okay? And that we know that 65% of podcasts are listened to from tablets and mobile. So again, which is the connectivity and the device we're looking at. Targeting at the speed of light. So we know that within Wi-Fi, you can now kind of map how people are walking within, let's say, ArabNet. But now there's light. And Phillips, with Phillips Hue, Carrefour partnered up with Phillips, again, partnership. And they've done a pretty cool project whereby they put tablets on the trolleys, and they've realized how people are walking based on the light and the proximity of the light within the store, within Carrefour. And then they broadcasted messages, let's say, to moms. Again, we go to moms because they are more prone to promotions. So that's pretty interesting. Look up Philips, Philips Lighting, Philips Light Messaging, and Carrefour. You can find it online. That was done in France. Last but not least, mastering contextual commerce. Everything relates back to purchase. And how do we do that? We kind of develop intuitive technologies and we transform interactions. Technologies that are very intuitive, that, like the Amazon Go again. And Facebook always comes in as an example, and this was released actually last year, June 2015. But we haven't really mastered it as a business. But what Facebook does here is gives you notifications called places and tips. Gives you notifications based on where you are. So if you've checked in, let's say, this hotel, it will give you recommendations of the Grill, which is an upstairs restaurant on the first floor, because it knows you're around there. But even more, Facebook now is installing beacons based on your request within venues. So if you have a restaurant or you have a shopping center or fashion brand, you can install beacons and plug them into Facebook. So people walking around, let's say, this hotel, and if beacons are installed and then kind of developed within a Facebook ecosystem, you will receive a notification on Facebook or an ad served through Ad Exchange based on your proximity. This is something that we're not aware of. We do targeting. We put let's say, $1,000 budget. We want to target females from 15 to 20, and that's it. But do we really look at proximity? I don't think so. Last but not least, there's value in virtual reality. And we all want to do these 360 videos and plug in VR, but how does VR actually add value? And this is done by a project Google Tango released last year, but not quite kind of implemented in this region. What Google Tango does is it overlays content within, let's say, a shopping center like this. When you open up the app, it shows you what kind of promotions there are. And again, goes back to the data that I gave you, which is proximity and messaging and people that relate to proximity messages and kind of converge higher. So what's the recipe of mastering proximity? 4 things again, okay? Don't forget them. I'll upload the presentation online, and you can find me on Twitter and can just download it, and I'll send it to the guys up there, which are 4. Mastering location, connected experiences, together to stand apart. Always look at collaboration, okay? إيد وحدة ما بتزقف, as they say. And contextual commerce. And this is where I end and say shukran, and thank you, and I hope... Thank you. Can I take any questions? Okay, that's it. Are there any questions? Boy, just one. Hi. I need you to speak up again.
Thanks. I was saying in terms of trends for 2017, based on what you presented, what would you think should be the number one focus for brand advertisers, or top 3 in terms of tech trends and deployable technology?
So what are the trends or incoming 2017 for advertisers. So we looked at the Facebook example right now here, which was released in 2015. But if you look at other tech partners, you have like Offer Moments, and then you have Bliss Media, we're all aware of, that uses geolocation-based to kind of push advertising. But I think not the trend, what consumers want, because consumers push the trend, it's not the other way around. You come with a product and then you push it. Although Steve Jobs says you never know what people want until you give it to them. But looking at tech startups, I think the most important thing is, again, to use these three pillars: content, connectivity, and context. So if you can create something as a product or as, let's say, an advertiser or advertising product that masters these three elements, again, like Offer Moments, and looking at data, if you can plug in any type of data that the consumer has within his machine and customize and create a product that's very relevant to them, and then don't play alone, try to connect to multiple assets. Try to connect, plug into Facebook, plug into Twitter, create this advertising format that uses the people's data and then publish it in a way that kind of makes them feel relevant or customized. I can't give you kind of trends because I'm not a trend maker, but what I can tell you is the most important thing on data is not only digital data, which is third party, second party, getting this data of what people use on Facebook, what kind of websites they do, but offline data is very important. And you can create the offline data yourself and own it by putting beacons through Wi-Fi and even through mobile. And that's it. I think I'm not allowed to take another question, eh? Okay, thank you.